Oh yeah, welcome to How Can She
Snap.
This is the Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthiest of casuals. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, here with none other than my brother from the same mother, yours truly, Mr.
MBDZ.
No big deal, no big deal. Now we have no guest this episode, and that's by design. Why is that? It's episode number 52. We've been doing this shit for over a year, and I can't believe it. No big deal. What do you think?
That's pretty wild, man. I want to definitely shout out, Ben Bro, Glenn, the boys and the girls, everybody at Second Dinner. Like, if this game was a shit game, we wouldn't be playing it for a year, So,
Yeah.
It's a great game, man. I still love playing it, and it's great to come on every week and talk to you about it. So
Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah.
I was saying, we got to bring it back to old times here. Just me and you, just the two bros, the Super Snap Bros, talking shit over here, talking some snap. I mean, we got a lot that happened this week, so we'll get into it, I guess. We'll, this episode, we got some pretty cool stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the end of the last season and kind of a wrap up of what we thought of the last season. Maybe some of our Infinity Conquest, that kind of nonsense. Then we're going to get into the new season, new cards, 2 new cards. We have Blink, who you see up on the screen. Season pass card, pretty cool card. Then we have Nocturne in the season, in the spotlight caches. Then we're gonna rank all the cards of the season, and we're gonna tell you guys what we think where we think they're gonna land. We're not gonna give them like ratings each card, but just relative to each other, 1 through 5, and we'll see. Then a day ago or so, there was a leak of the OTAs.
Oh baby.
We're recording because I got to go out of state for a conference, but we're recording Wednesday, so it's the day before actual OTA. So we're going to talk about some of the leaks. So if they're all wrong by the time this comes out, we're sorry. We're talking about the leaks. All right, grow up. Let's get it. All right, no big deal. What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been fun, man. I love this new card. I mean, it's been a good couple days here, just blasting Blink decks.
Yeah. Now before we talk about Blink, let's talk about last season. Let's
Okay.
get into last season.
All right, we asked how I was doing. I'm on the
I
Blink
don't mean to cut you off. We'll talk
Yeah.
about Blink. We'll talk about Blink. But
Yeah.
last season, Infinity Conquest. How'd you do? Any heroics?
No, I did. I didn't play too much Conquest. I only had 3 tickets, and 2 you get from the shop. So I only won 1 gold Conquest. So I had 3 tickets. I got to round 4 was the latest I got, which we talked about that last week. But I used the U.S. Agent deck. That one couldn't get there. Loki deck got me to round 4, and then my last one I think I did a Pixie deck. So. Yeah, just like standard all the Pixie stuff everybody's playing. So I think I did Reggae's version, which that deck's sick. It was really good for me on ladder, but I couldn't quite get there in the Conquest. I had a few bad draws, and that's the way she goes. So yeah. What about you? Did you get there?
No, I did not get there at all. I only had one ticket. I didn't even play enough Conquest to get the second ticket from the shop.
Yeah.
And I got to round 2. And I was playing Phoenix Force. And then the round 2 game, I had 3 Subterraneas in 5 rounds.
Oh god.
And I was playing a mill deck, and so like I had no chance, dude. That deck is it's so hard. Phoenix Force is like so bad into that deck because Gladiator, you kill everything, and it's like combo deck nightmare. But that's the way she goes, again, and I don't really care. But speaking of Phoenix Force, there was a Phoenix Force tournament on Lambie Series' Discord. It was awesome, and it was going on for maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks. It was kind of like Snap Judgments League, where people were gonna have a couple days to play your game, and then it was kind of a Swiss round. So joining it a few weeks ago, I was like, all right, well, we're all gonna screw around. Everyone had to play.
There's some pretty good players in there, though, right? Like,
there were some top ladder players, like Miley's up there. Get Wrecked was in there, and then Seifert, who's top 100 in the ladder. Actually, he was running the tournament. He didn't play, but there's a lot of good players in there, and then and a few scrubs like me. Everyone had to play Phoenix Force, so it was hilarious. Like, Finn, obviously Finn was there. He's a top ladder player.
Yeah,
Phoenix Force Nimrod player. So like,
great Twitter follow too, Finn Snap.
Yeah, he's awesome. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's so the rules basically were you have 8 core cards. So like there's 8 Phoenix Force cards, and then there was like a list of like 12 other cards that you could pick 4 from them. So like if you wanted to play like a Nimrod list, you had those cards, but like the core was the same.
Yeah.
So we played, and then like I somehow ended up making top 4. And then I was like, all right, whatever.
Kid, was Jet in there? Was he in the tournament?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Oh, he did? Okay. Must have been busy or something. Okay.
He would have killed us.
So the kid gets top 4.
So I got top 4, and I wasn't expecting on making top 4 because I knew going into it, like I told the tournament, I'm like, if by some miracle I make top 4, like I'm not going to be able to play because it's 4 a.m. my time, and I had to work that day.
Yeah.
So like, whatever. I make top 4, and then so I get fucking fired up because of this. So I'm like, oh shit! Like I played my match the night before. I hadn't dropped a match. Like every match that I played, like there were some people like no showed, like because some people were playing on the other side of the world, so it was hard to coordinate time. So, but anyways, I got fucking fired up, man. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. The tournament guy's like, I know you said you can't play, but like, you made top 4. So what do you think? I'm like, fuck it. I'm waking up at 4 in the morning. I'm like 3:30. Yeah. And then I had to work, and I had to leave for work like 2 hours later. But I was like, I don't give a shit. I went to bed at like 8. I'm like, slept, and then wake up. First round win for the kid. So I'm like, shit, I made finals. And then it's like, there's like an hour left, and we played on the Lambie series Discord. And we played with open mic, so we were able to talk shit and stuff. So it was kind of funny.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was like, we're just chirping like, oh, hey, I got Phoenix Force. Fuck you, buddy. Like, you're not gonna win. Like, it'll snap, and like you could bluff and shit. So it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So made finals, and actually Finn made finals as well. Finn went through the whole thing undefeated. Now I ended up winning the tournament, but I won by kind of default because like something real life happened with Finn where he had to leave. And so we never ended up getting to play. So I won by default. And I was like, hey, we can play later and stuff like that. Like I'll reschedule. But tournament ordinators, like we kind of set this all like it's just kind of got to happen that way. So whatever. And Finn was okay with it. But, he kind of saved me the embarrassment because he probably would have wrecked me if I'm being quite honest. Like, guy, he's real good. That Nimrod.
Hey, all I gotta say is wins a win. Wins a win, baby.
Wins a win. But so I took that down.
Taking down a tournament. Let's
it was go, number 1 on the tournament. That was hilarious. And then it was great. I had a good time. It was so much fun. And actually every round that I played, I didn't lose one. So I hadn't lost one. But yeah, so it was fun. So that was my my experience there with Phoenix Force preseason. So I kind of wanted to get that out of the way, but just getting my tournament feet wet with the Snap Judgment League last one, and then this one was hilarious. It's great. If there's another one, I'll let people know because playing only Phoenix Force, even the mirror matches, they're fucking hilarious, man. And they made it a point that no tech cards were allowed, like no Shang-Chi, nothing like that. Like,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, so everyone just got to go balls to the wall. Like it was fucking so funny. It was so much fun. But yeah.
Well, look at it this way, kid. Like, if the NBA finals are going on and one of the teams has a major injury or something, and then the other team wins because of an injury, I mean, it doesn't invalidate the ring. Like you still got the ring. You're still the NBA champion. Like, it is what it is, man. Kevin Durant ruptures Achilles. Rap's still got a ring. I don't care. They still count the same. It's still a championship.
No, you're right. I'm not denying. I'm not denying.
You have to play at 4 a.m. You don't want to play at 4 a.m. Grind it out. We got in there, and let's go.
Yeah. I'm not denying myself the win. I just want to put a caveat there. I don't want to start jerking myself off if I didn't play the final. So.
Yeah. No, we didn't take down Finn Snappen, who is a phenomenal player,
and a great guy. And I don't want to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's talk about let's get into the new season now. You're edging, bro. You're really excited to talk about this.
No, it's okay. I'm done. Actually, let me bring up one thing in the previous season because we talked about.
Let me turn the light on. Go ahead.
Sorry. Let's we'll talk about.
Let's recap the last season. Let's talk about last season. What did you think about last season?
Yeah, well, I thought it was sick.
Yeah,
it was a great season. I had a great time. I mean, this is Zemo season. They definitely, it was Red Hulk season, right? But they nerfed them quick. So they nerfed them quick and they buffed US Agent quick. So That was pretty nice. I know a lot of people are pissed about that because it's like, oh, well, I would have rolled if you didn't, but it's that whole bullshit. But I'm always on team just like make good cards that are like good in the game, and
I agree.
the more we have, the better. And I had a great time with the season. We were talking about Mill last week and how like maybe it's T2, T3, and then the next day, Crazy, maybe best Marvel Snap player in the world. I mean, he's one of them. He's been ranked 1 multiple times. He's up there right now. He posts this mill deck on Twitter, and it's we don't have it on the screen, but I'll read it. It's Yondu, Titania, Daredevil, Cable, Jeff, Magic, Baron Zemo, Gladiator, Absorbing Man, Professor X, Cannonball, Doc Ock. I did a lot of climbing at the end of the season with this deck. I got inside like 4K. I was in the 6K range. The longer you don't play, you just keep getting slid down. So I could grind it into like the 4K with this deck, just with a freaking mill deck. And I mean, Cannonball Prof X is obviously top tier. So I mean, let's get that straight. So this is a Prof X Cannonball deck, but it uses all the mill bullshit too. You Absorbing Man, your Zemo, and you kind of pop off that way. Doc Ock's insane with Magic, and really, really cool mill deck coming out of Crazy. So it's the first one that I played. It reminds me of like a much better version of, remember the autofill in the first week of the season?
Yeah,
it was like autofill. This is like, imagine if a really good player actually like created that, like made that deck. Like this is this is what it feels like. And really, really sick deck. I had a lot of fun with that at the end of the season.
That's great. Yeah, I still think it's tier 2 at least. I don't think it's
tier
1,
for sure.
Yeah.
But, hey, Prof X Cannonball is pretty sick,
bro. Prof X Cannonball is sick.
Yeah.
That's
a tier one package right there.
Yeah. One thing I always forget to mention about these seasons, every season, I really want to bring it up every week, and I always forget, but finally I remember. Dude, the music they've been doing every season has fucking slapped. Like the last few seasons have been unbelievable. Even this season too, it's pretty sweet. Like I've loved it. I gotta say that before I forget. Like the music just slaps.
Well, let's talk about the music for a sec, okay? On the last one, I didn't love the last season. I'm really sick of the same bass hit they use on everything. The bump, 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 bump. You know how they use that like thing, but then they like slow it down and use it in other shit. You know what I mean? Like, bump, bump, bump. The same bass hit they use in everything. I'm over it. Like I'm sick of it. But this season music, unbelievable.
That's
like
great.
I love the aesthetic. The aesthetic looks like our podcast. Like yeah. But the music's like great too. Like everything looks phenomenal. It's totally different song right now. And I think the Blink season, like they crushed it on this one. This might be my favorite one so far, honestly.
It's great. Yeah, I love it so far. Yeah, I love the pink. I love the aesthetic. It's great. We got the neon bros like our pod. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What do you think about the Blink, the card? Let's just dive into it this season. It's only been a day and a half that we've had her, so it's not been a lot for us to play with her. But what are your initial thoughts?
Well, super super early thoughts. But going into it, I thought that I was giga hyped for this card. I'm thinking Lockjaw 2.0. Like this is the new card that's going to take over. It's slightly worse than I expected.
Yeah,
but still really good. I think it's a legitimately really good card. I thought you were just going to be able to just play it in everything and it would just be broken. And I haven't quite seen that yet, but I think it's a great card. I think there's just off the top of my head, 3-4 decks that it fits in really nicely. And I still think it's, it's going to age like fine wine as well. I think it's going to get better over time. So I really like it. It's really fun for sure. Like it's a blast to play. I love swapping the card out for something higher, and you kind of know what you're going to get, but not really. And really fun to build decks around it too. You do have to you really have to build your deck around this card. So man, I like it a lot. I think it's good, but it's not oh my god, you got to play Blink or you're going to lose. I thought it might actually be like that, and I don't think it is.
Yeah. No. I think it's a really good card, and I agree with you completely. And we'll talk about a little bit more when we get into our rankings. But I think this card's gonna be kind of like Pixie. I think it's gonna be pretty good now, kind of okay. Maybe I think it's gonna be better at Pixie than Pixie at first, but I think it's gonna get better with time because it seems like a card that you're gonna have to figure out, like with the right deck and stuff, to really really optimize its effect, because its effect is pretty cool and pretty unique. So I think it's gonna take a while to find the optimal deck for it, but I'm really enjoying this card. This card is a ton of fun, man. It's like really, it's good in like, it's good in a lot of stuff. A lot of people are playing ramp. It's good to take out the electro. Like I played a little bit of Thanos because the goddamn fucking hot location today is Quantum Tunnel. So it's like,
Yeah.
you just play dumb decks like that you don't want to play. But that's what I was doing. Played Blink, and I did some Hella stuff, and then everyone's playing Hella and Ladder, so I'm like, all right, I'm over that. Then I started playing some Junk, but just Blink's just good. She seems like a pretty cool card to throw in a lot of stuff. Haven't actually got the Blink Jubilee combo yet, but I haven't really played too much this season just because I've been busy with work. But this seems like a pretty cool card. I like her a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Definitely a fun.
Natural fit in Hella for sure. Like just makes a lot of sense in that deck. Natural fit in ramp decks too. And it's funny because for years at this point I've been saying, yeah, man, just Hella just owns ramp decks, right? But that was with the old Sandman, So there's this weird thing happening right now, and I don't know if the people are really realizing it because everyone's just blindly playing Hella, and they're all playing Husky's list. Husky's list is sick, by the way. We'll get into that later, but or pretty soon. But people are playing kind of safe Hella lists that are reliable, and Blink is one of these cards that is one of these kind of reliable. Like, okay, I haven't got my Hella yet. It has to be targeted, right? Like,
yeah,
you're scaling up to get your 6-drop or whatever you're getting, right? You're targeting something in your deck, and so you have to play kind of a reliable list. And those kind of lists take a little bit of the ceiling off. You're not playing like Corvus or Modoc and just discarding a bunch of stuff and then just shitting everything onto the board. So, these more reliable lists don't put as much power. And Sandman, what it used to do, Sandman ramp deck, is you play Sandman on 4 and then you have to play one card at a time. But I mean, Sandman is just a completely different card now. Like it's just not that card. And so you used to play like a 5/4, and then Hella would just play like anything, like it doesn't even matter what the Hella plays because you're playing a 5/4 and you're up against a Hella deck, and they play one card anyway. So they're just gonna outpower you no matter. It could be a safe Hella deck, risky one, doesn't matter. They own you because you're playing a freaking 5/4. But these ramp decks now are a different breed now. Like it's a different kind of ramp deck, and it's a different kind of Hella deck. So I don't think it really counters it like people think it does. But like it has historically, just because the way Sandman is a completely different card now. If that makes sense, kid. Does I sound like a rambling?
Yeah. No. I get you.
Yeah.
It does make sense. I mean, like, and also too, like the new Hello list as well. One thing to say about them, which I don't know if it's too much to your point, but just a thought in general, is that Hello is a lot of times being played on 5 now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just like even with like this, I'm just in this new Sandman. A lot of people are playing Sandman on 5.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these Hella lists can just play Hella on 5 too to kind of counter them as well. So there's that point as well for that they have that going for them too. But yeah, man, I don't know. This card's really cool. I really love her effect. I think the stats are good. I think she's pretty I think they've kind of just made her good right now. I wouldn't change a thing about her right now. I don't think she's too strong. I don't think she's too weak. She's cool. It doesn't feel bad playing ever, and just like having a fun thing come up is hilarious.
Yeah. No, she's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Nocturne then. I don't know.
You don't want to talk about some Blink lists?
We will after. Let's talk about the card first. I picked her up. I only played a little bit with her. I didn't get I don't even have any boosters with her, but I played a little bit with her. To me, she seems, after a little bit of playing, now mind you, I haven't play tested her a lot, so take my recommendation with a grain of salt here. She seems all right. She doesn't seem amazing. She seems like a card that is good in Angela lists, and if you play a lot of Angela lists with Hope Summers and stuff, she's probably a really good card that you're going to want. She kind of reminds me of Red Guardian in that she's a good card that you don't really need to have. You can just, there's a lot of other substitutes for her. Like the Angela lists are probably a little bit better with her because she's a 3/5 that can move around and change locations. So they're probably a little bit better with her. They're not that much better, and you could do fine without it. Yeah, that's and if you're struggling for resources, you don't really play Angela lists, I would recommend not getting this card right now, to be honest. But I don't know. You didn't get the card. You were gonna wait a week, right, before seeing.
Yeah, so this one's really interesting to me because I mean, as far as like play style for me, like I do love this kind of card for sure. Like I like Cerebro 5, it's a natural fit in that deck. Even some location control. If you get rid of one that gives +1 to everything or one of those bullshit locations.
Yeah, Xandar.
Or Nidavellir, is the other one, right? So she can dunk on those. And I like these Silky Smooth decks too. My thoughts were, I mean, Glazer, the reason we're ranking cards, right? Glazer asked us before the season, hey, do you guys want to rank these cards? Because they write an article and they take a survey of everybody, just rank the cards going into the season. I had her at number 4. I had Blink at number 1. And the reason I had her at
spoiler
4,
alert.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert, but we're talking Nocturne here. I had Nocturne at 4, and a lot of people, I was getting a little worried because I'm watching all these content creators like, she has a 3/5 that moves. It's going to be unbelievable. There's no way it can be bad. Like, I was even like Cam Best. He's like ranked 16 right now. He's like, no way it could be bad. 3/5 that moves. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm like wrong on this. Like, I don't know. But the way I look at it is, number 1, I don't think Nightcrawler is that good of a card. Just straight up. I just don't. Like, I think Angela's a phenomenal card, and I think Hope Summers is a phenomenal card, and the whole package is great. I don't think Nightcrawler is that good of a card on his own, right? And that's a 1/2 that moves. Jeff is phenomenal, but he can go anywhere, and he doesn't cuck you as Scarlet Witch effect. Like Jeff is reliable, 2/5 with Elsa, like goes into a Prof X lane. Like it's just, Jeff's a rock star, So this is not Jeff. Like, so I'm comparing this to like, let me ask you a hypothetical question, kid, because this is what really, really makes me think about this. If let's just go to a bizarro world where we never knew that Nocturne ever existed. She doesn't exist. She's not coming to Marvel Snap. Instead, the season pass card is current iteration of Captain Marvel. Would people not be losing their fucking minds to get Captain Marvel?
Get a 4/5?
4/5 Captain Marvel. Current, they'd be like, oh my God, she wins you the game. Like, you put her in an Angela deck, she goes to a 4/7. Like, oh, this is like, what I mean? Craven, what, like, people would lose their, like, but Captain Marvel hasn't come out yet. It's coming in Series 5. Instead of Nocturne, it's Captain Marvel 4/5. People would be losing their shit, right?
You think so? I don't know. I think it sounds like shit, but I mean, maybe I'm just biased because I know it's shit.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't. Okay, I'm not convinced that this card's better than Captain Marvel. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I like, especially in an Angela Kitty deck, and people are cutting Captain Marvel from these decks, and Captain Marvel's sick in these decks. She's really good in the Silky Smooth, whatever, like Angela Kitty deck. She's one of the top win rate cards in the entire game.
Yeah.
And that's why, because she's like 4/7 if you Elsa buffer, and she just auto wins you the game. And so I'm gonna ask you another question. You're playing an Angela Kitty deck, right? Do you want to play? You're on turn 3. You're curving out. You're on turn 3. You want to play Nocturne, or you want to play Hope Summers?
Hope Summers.
You want to play Nocturne, or you want to play Elsa?
Depends on the board state.
Right, but you want to get your Elsa before your Nocturne, of course, right?
Not always.
If you want to buffer and then move her, ideally.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on I guess. If you want to buff Nocturne, but it depends on the board state too and the locations. But
I'm just saying, you're playing Angela Kitty deck. This is like the third best 3-drop, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm a little skeptical is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if the 3/5 is necessary in these decks.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's like a decent card that I don't think is necessary. But in not even in the Angela decks too, like which I think she is good in those.
For sure.
But I think she might even just be like down the road a decent tech card to throw in, like a good cards list or something that might want to run her, because location control is nice, and to have something move that has location control can be very nice. So she could be like a decent card at some point, just to move 5 power. Like if you lost a lane, like if there's like a storm lane that you lost and she's there, like you just like move 5 power over, which is pretty sweet,
and get rid of the flood. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, yeah. So
yeah, Miss Marvel, she'd be really good synergy with that card. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think she might be. I worry that she's mid, and I don't want to spend 6K on a okay decent card.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would not spend 6K tokens on her at all. And to be quite frank, like the spotlight caches this week are not really great either. It's Celine and Kyera.
Default Celine looks better than that one.
Yeah, I got that one. I got Nocturne too. It was Celine and then this, and I was like, oh
But
man.
the Kyera variant's not very good.
The Kyera
either.
variant, I thought it looked sick. I love the
Oh,
Kyera
you like it?
variant.
Okay,
I love it. Yeah,
personally.
that's fine.
Mhm.
But they're like cards that like you don't really need. You could probably skip this whole week and be just fine. Like, how often do I play Kyra? Not really that often. How often do I play Celine? Not really that often. How often am I going to play Nocturne after playing her for a little bit? Probably not that often. I don't know. Like, if you like the playstyle, she's great. But if not, like, whatever. She's okay. She's just
I think I'm
okay.
comfortable just taking her out for Vision or Captain Marvel, something like this.
Yeah, well, there's just better cards. There's gonna be better cards, and
Yeah.
resources are scarce now. So it's like, it's not one that you're like, oh, dude, this is so sick. You need to get like Red Hulk is one of those cards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sweet. Well, let's talk about some of the decks.
I want to see. I do want to see the stats at the end of the week for sure. Now that I have untapped, so we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. I mean, if she's crazy stats, maybe I'll have to reconsider. But
yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the decks you went through. Well, I have this one here just pulled up already. So this was my hot location Thanos deck that I think it was crazy. One of the top ladder players posted, they're like, this was my hot location deck, easy cube. So I was like, oh yeah, Thanos makes sense. I'm like, I haven't played Thanos in a hot minute, so whatever, I'll do it because the stupid quantum tunnel hot location. It seemed to be pretty good. I was doing pretty good with it. Psylocke, Jeff, Hope Summers, Shang-Chi, Professor X, Blink, Vision, Mockingbird, Blob, Red Hulk, Thanos, and Magneto. I had a pretty ridiculous play on turn 7 one time where or turn 6, where I played Jeff, and then I played Blink, and then the Jeff turned into a Blob who got 20 power and won me the game. So I'm like, sick. I was, and I called it too. I'm like, oh, Blob's still in the deck. I'm like, all right, I can Jeff and then Blink, and then Jeff will turn into Blob, and then Blob's gonna win me this game. Let's go, baby! Because I propped X another game or another lane that I had already won, and then I needed like a big card, and I was like, man, it worked out just so perfectly. And I think I didn't have Vision in the deck. Still, he was in my hand, so like I knew it was getting a 6-drop, so like it was pretty sick. But yeah, that's just this Thanos list for the hot location. If you like Thanos, is a good big card Thanos list. It's fun. It's good.
I do think like just Blink. I mean, I played a little bit of Blink. The first deck I tried was Thanos actually, and it makes sense, right? The only awkward thing is the Mind Stone cost 2, which sucks, right? If all the cards were 1, you could really like load it on the top end, right? And like just always high roll. But the fact that Mind Stone's 2, but I still think it's okay. Like you said, I mean, you got Hope there, like like you could switch out your Hope or something like that. You don't have to switch out a stone. So.
Yeah, it's a good fun deck. It's a good fun deck. I'll talk about this list I like. It's just a junk list because I initially played a little bit of Hella, then it was all mirror matches, and anyone who's listened to this podcast more than once knows that I fucking hate mirror matches, so I can't deal with them. So I just was like, you know what shuts down Hella? Junk. All right, Prof X, Cannonball stuff that makes Hella miserable. So I'm gonna play that, and I love junk. So Hood, Nebula, Daredevil, White Widow, Jeff, Ravonna, Green Goblin, Debris, Sentry, Professor X, Annalise, Cannonball. Ton of fun. Did get a decent amount of climbing with this list. Did really well. Junk is just great in these kind of with the Hella combo shit. It's awesome. Yeah, nothing to be said. This is like just a really good deck.
Junk's awesome. Junk's still awesome. I mean, none of these cards got hit, right? So like this is it's a great deck.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about some of yours. No big deal. I can talk about my Hella list. I'll just quickly. It's like a Black Knight Hella because everyone was playing Hella, so I'm like, I want to at least play Black Knight. I haven't seen too many Black Knight Hella. So Black Knight, Blade, Corvus Glaive, Lady Sif, Jubilee, Ghost Rider, Blink, Hella, Red Hulk, Magneto, Infinite, Death. That's the one I'm using. Let's talk about one of yours. No big deal. And then we can both talk about just Hella in general.
Well, let's talk about Huskies hella because this is.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like the hella god. I mean, he was like rank 6. I was watching him stream today, so I'm like, all right,
yeah,
I'll steal this off of him. And then I saw Prodigy tweet. He's like the other top hella guy. He's like, oh, I've been playing Huskies list, but I'll let him unveil it or whatever, right? So anyway, this is it. I think it's not unveil. He was playing it on stream, so we're not unveiling anything. But this
yeah.
is Blade, Colleen, Lady Sif, Dracula, Jubilee, Black Cat, Blink, Hella, Magneto, Giganto, Infinite, Death. I was playing around a little bit with it. I mean, Blink's just a natural fit in Hella. She's great. You can switch out all these little cards, and you sometimes don't even need to play Hella to just get a bunch of big shit out. So, just a natural fit in the Hella list. Colleen, like because sometimes you blink out one of your blade or something, and you don't want to like pull a Corvus, like you play blade and then you blink out your blade and then like Corvus glaive comes up and like discards your Hella or something like that, right? So it's a little bit more targeted. The Colleen's gonna hit either Jubilee or Dracula, something like that, maybe blink or one of these cards rather than just like a Corvus glaive just crushing your Hella, right? So because a little bit more like lockjaw randomy, so you need it to be a little bit more targeted. To your point, kid, with the junk stuff, I'm personally playing Lady Deathstrike in the spot of Giganto, just for the exact reason. There's a lot of junk out there still. I mean, people know it's great, and I think they're thinking the same thing. Like, oh, fuck these Hella or these Tribunal or whatever bullshit combo list. Like, let's just play junk. So I think Lady Deathstrike's just an awesome card and natural fit in Hella. Like, why? What even if I discard it, like maybe it appears and kills the void or kills the widow's bite or kills the hood or that they got sent over. So LDS, great card, and I like it in place of Giganto personally. But this is Husky's list. Obviously, he's way better player than me. So if you want to copy a good list, this is a good one.
Yeah,
And
and
TLSG just made a video on it too, I think.
yeah, and dude, the Blink just feels so good in these lists too because like you're pulling something nice almost
Mm-hmm.
every time, and you can like turn 4 if you don't have Dracula or Jubilee, you can play like Lady Sif, and then turn 5 Blink. That Lady Sif turns into Dracula, Jubilee, or which are all good pulls that you want, or Hella, Magneto,
Yeah,
Giganto, Infinite, or Death. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and the Death is nice too because if you don't draw Death, then if you play Hella, I mean, I guess you would never get. You'd never, unless it's a turn 7 or something that you would want Death from a 6 drop. I doubt you would in this list. So
Mhm.
I guess if you play Hella on 6, you could play Blink on 7, and if there's Death still in your deck, but that's a really never mind weird scenario that would almost never
That did
happen.
come up once actually when I was playing. So
Okay, well, I guess
yeah.
it came up once. So
Because you don't want your blink to just hit nothing, right? So it is
yeah,
kind of nice, +6 power, nothing to scoff at. You're playing a 5/13. It's pretty good.
yeah. And with Blink too, like you have to actually, the card that you played has to be on the board. I've seen
Yeah.
a few people while I'm going up the ladder play on the Quantum Tunnel, then play Blink, and I'm like, what are they doing? Then it's the Deadpool emoji,
Mhm.
because it doesn't swap anything because it's not on the board anymore.
Mhm.
So it's actually got to be on the board still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the goblins don't work the way we thought that they work. If you goblin and it goes on the other side and then you blink, the card comes up on your side.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I've never seen that, but that's what I've heard people say.
I've heard
So
that as well. Yeah.
you
And
can't
yeah,
do
I
the
like.
old hobgoblin destroyer and destroy all their stuff. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess they thought of that, but yeah, we never like seen it happen. So I feel like it would have came up at some point, right? But
Yeah, that'd
um,
be great.
yeah, I learned that the hard way. I tried a Blink Ray Bill deck on day one, and yeah, it doesn't work with Lockjaw. You Lockjaw something out, you play Blink, it just does nothing. So
Yeah,
it's still good in those decks though. You could at the end play like a Hammer Blink. It's pretty nice.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, but yeah, Hella is just Hella. It's a nice deck for climbing ladder. If if you enjoy Hella too, because the bots just don't understand what Hella does. So you could always get 8 cubes from them.
Mm-hmm.
Your board state looks so shit, and then like just the bots will snap you, and then it's free 8 cubes
Yeah.
because you play Hella and they have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Hella bots that have discarded their own Hella, they still snap you if you're behind on turn 5. It's wonderful. Let's talk about ramp. You're playing
Yeah.
this ramp list here.
So I made this list. This feels pretty sick. Okay, so this list is the only card I don't know about the Nebula, but it kind of just seems like a default in most ramp lists. So Nebula, Electro, Corvus, Wave, Blink, Lady Deathstrike, Doctor Doom, Hela, Eliath, Odin, Red Hulk, and Infinite. This feels like Blink really shines in this list, like because the whole deck is like it's just extremely reliable. You're never like pulling bad shit. So like you play a ramp card and then you play Blink, and since the ramp cards are all three, it's gonna at minimum go to a 5, which is Lady Deathstrike. So it's either only Lady Deathstrike or any random 6 cost card. Only like really bad one is if you like hit it, like you blink into a Hela or something like that, and you haven't discarded anything. That kind of feels bad, but you kind of just play around that. And in a case like that, maybe you just go Wave, or maybe you go like Wave into Doctor Doom instead. Like, so you just have to be smart with your play patterns. But I think this deck, it Lady Deathstrike and Eliath give you like a lot of interaction. I mean, like you said, there's a bunch of Hela out there, kid. Well, they're not ready for Eliath. Like, so it's usually like just predict where the hell is gonna go and just blast it down, and nobody's ready for Eliath right now. So you just straight blast him. It's great. And Eliath just like finally made it to the point of Marvel Snap where he's a surprise card.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah, I run Eliath in the Phoenix Force list as the tech slot still.
Yeah, so they probably don't expect it in a Phoenix Force.
I have him instead of Forge, and yeah, he really. Yeah, he does some work sometimes. It's great. I haven't played ramp. I want to play some ramp. I will play some ramp. This looks like a cool list. I want to try some Sandman stuff too. People are having some good success with Sandman stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the like you said, the Electro Blink is a pretty sick play. Like,
that's great. Actually, Lady Deathstrike, you can kill your Electro too. Not that you need to, but you're only playing one card at a time anyway. So I generally just leave them out there like a boss. But
send a message.
But the Electro Blink is great because you're going into something big, right? You're like your board's pretty crazy on turn 4 at that point. Like you have a 7 and then something big, so it's pretty nice. Like imagine you have like Blink and a Red Hulk and it's turn 4 and you're going into turn 5. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You haven't even done your big combos yet. Obviously, the nut combo is Corvus Glaive into turn 5 Hela into Odin on top. That's obviously the nut. You got to snap on that.
But, that's great. I love it. Ramps. I like how there's some ramp coming back. It's nice. You don't want ramp to be too good, but ramps. It's nice when ramp is like an okay deck that you can win with. So
I
like it.
I mean, this is not a Sandman deck, so it's not like it's like debilitating or anything. Now, when Sasquatch comes out, maybe we find room for Sandman.
Yeah. All right, let's we'd be remiss if we didn't in true how can she snap fashion have some no big deal spice for the people, some random deck that he created that he's having some success with. Why don't you talk to people about this? You called it Quantum Tunnel Tribunal. Talk to people about this monstrosity that you created that you somehow were like 10 games in and plus 39 cubes or some shit.
No, way more than that. It's like I'm like plus 89 cubes or something. It's ridiculous. It's like 17 and 6 for like plus 80 or it's just something.
All right. Talk about this deck.
Yeah, so I mean it's Quantum Tunnel right now, and I do want to say I think nobody's talking about Blink in a Tribunal deck. Does it not just fit perfectly? Like it's a natural Jubilee runner already. Like Jubilee's already in there. And I think it's great. I mean, this deck used to run the card like Zabu, and you only have 2 4-drops now, so you don't really need the Zabu. That's not an ongoing card. And it's an Onslaught deck, so like, what are we doing with the Zabu? So we don't need that. It's Ant-Man, Ravonna, Mystique, Magic, Jubilee, Iron Lad, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Sarah, Blink, Onslaught, and Living Tribunal. So as you can see, very, very top heavy. So, you're pretty much always getting good rolls out of the Quantum Tunnel. Ant-Man's in there just for something cheap. Just throw his ass into the Quantum Tunnel, see what comes out. And then at the end of the game, if he kind of pops back, you're not too upset. It's still an Ant-Man. Like, if you got an Onslaught there, it's like a 1/9, we're pumping it up. It's not so bad. a Mystique pops up. If she copies Ant-Man, it's actually not that big of a deal. Like, it's like a 3/5 or whatever, right? It's not too bad. So these are all like serviceable cards, and nobody's playing Enchantress. When was the last time you saw an Enchantress? Doesn't exist.
Didn't see one.
That card doesn't exist. I haven't seen one at all. I mean, you do lose to some other stuff, but there's actually pretty little Red Guardian out there too, because I think people are playing like Nocturne instead of Red Guardian, right? So there's not a lot of counters to this out there. Junk can get a little tricky, but as long as they don't junk your Iron Man lane, you could crush a junk deck too. They're like locking shit down with Prof X, and you're just like, oh, that's cute. I got Living Tribunal. Like, that's a sick Prof X you got there, buddy. So
Yeah.
you go like 10 in each lane. If you got 10, 10, 10, you could beat a lot of these junk matchups. So, yeah, man. I mean, nobody's ready for this. Oh, and you're talking about farming bots, kid. This thing farms the shit out of bots. And specifically, I would say hold your onslaught till the end if you're playing a bot.
That's
like,
great.
If it's a magic, like do Tribunal first, then onslaught. If I'm playing a human, I usually hold the Tribunal because you want like kind of a surprise spread, or maybe you're going to spread, maybe you're not going to spread. Maybe you do like Iron Man Mystique to go 2 lanes instead of Tribunal spread across 3. But against the bot, like you want to show that you don't have a lot of power on the board so that they stay in the game. Similar to Hella, right? It's like, I'm not doing too much, So I think that's how you farm 8 cubes out of bots. And this deck does it better than any I've played all season.
Oh, it does. This is like a classic bot farming deck, Tribunal. Yeah. I love this. I don't know why I find it so funny. I think it's the Ant-Man.
He's great. He's great here.
It's like,
I'll just scroll through the ongoing list. I'm like, oh, perfect.
It's a nice Tribunal list, but fucking Ant-Man makes me laugh. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm going to play this one. Blink would be pretty good in this list too, man.
Blake's perfect in here, and Ant-Man's a big part of why, that's a prime Blink target, obviously.
Yeah,
and you could play, you get Sarah down, so you just do a Blink, an Ant-Man Blink, easy peasy.
Yeah. I love it. So yeah, no big deal. Quantum Tunnel Tribunal, Spice for the People. It's a Blink Tribunal list with Ant-Man. It's awesome. I love it.
Just think about this. You got 12 cards in your deck, right? You got 12 cards in your deck. Magic draws you an extra card, so you're finished with 2, right? But Jubilee draws a card out of your deck, and that's only 1 out of your deck. And then Blink gets you a card out of your deck, so you just have access to your entire deck. Thanks to Ant-Man, thanks to Blink.
And Iron Lad. Yeah, it's great. What was this? I was going to say something with this deck. Damn it, I forgot. Anyways, it's great. I'm pretty pumped. No, I don't know. I'm pretty pumped about it. It's good. The Quantum Tunnel Tribunal. All right, let's go. Let's talk about our rankings. What we think the cards are going to rank this season.
Mm-hmm.
Let me unshare the screen here.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about Blink, and I mean, for me, I had Blink at 1. It's nothing against.
Let's start with 5.
Okay, let's start with 5. All right, you start with your 5. Good.
My 5 is Nomura. I have her up on the screen here.
Yeah.
I'll say, like, I'll preface my list of, like, I think that there is a clear, in my mind, 3 tiers of card this season. There's a shit tier. There's a kind of mid tier, which is kind of okay, and then there's like a top tier where I think there's gonna be pretty damn good cards. My shit tier has 1 card in it, and that card is Nomura. I hope that I'm wrong, and I'm gonna go on record. I think this card's fucking garbage. I'm not gonna lie. They even buffed her to a 5/6 because she's just fucking garbage. She's a 5/6 on reveal. Give +5 power to each of your cards alone at another location. And maybe I'm probably just an idiot, but I don't see how this card can be good. In my mind, it doesn't work for me. There's way more things I want to do on 5, and I'm not going to not play cards in the other locations just to give them 5 power on turn 5. That seems ridiculous to me. There's also a card in the game called White Widow. There you go. Fuck you, Nomura. There's also a card called Debris. Go fuck yourself, Nomura. There's also Prof X. There's also Annihilus. There's also, there's so many cards that shove shit on your side of the board that are good cards right now.
Raptors, Central Park. Yeah.
Like this card sucks, and like people are like, oh, but it's a 5/15. Yeah, but like what? At what cost is it a 5/15? You have to peep one card in each lane and play this in the middle, like by turn 5. Like, no, you want to play the board, man. You don't want to just play one card in each lane. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't see how it's going to be good. I think it's going to be crap. Yeah, that's my hard skip for me. I don't even want this card.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment. I can't argue with you too much.
And it's not exciting to me.
She's my last rank card as well. I have her last, but I am a little more optimistic than you. Do I think she's total dog shit? I don't know. I'm just a little hopium with this card. I got a little bit of hopium, because Doctor Doom's a 6/15, great card, and this is a 5/16, right? And so, that's 5/16.
No, it's like a 5/16 that you have to really fucking work hard for.
I don't know how hard you have to work. I think it does depend on locations and like if your opponent's playing a junk deck, obviously you're in trouble. You can buff the Widow Bite, bring it up to a 1, and then you fill the lane on 6. Then you fill the lane on 6, and it goes up, goes up to a 5.
That's what you want to be doing on turn 6. So you only have 6 power in the middle.
I mean, look, for the Atlanteans, if they were an archetype, which they're not. I mean, we talked about this on the OTA thing. I'm advocating for strong 2 power buffs on Namor and Orca. But if the Atlanteans were an archetype, they would get countered by junk. I mean, it's just they have to be in a thing alone, and junk sends shit over. So it's it's a natural predator. So, but let's say in a game where you're not playing against a junk player, I don't think it's that tough to just leave 2 lanes with 1 card in them and just kind of stack up on another lane. Like maybe you are playing a Kitty Angela deck, right? And you can have a Nocturne in 1 lane. You can have a Jeff, right? And just sitting by themselves. And then the other lane, you're just building up your Angela lane, your Angela Kitty, right? So you're just playing everything on the same lane. You slam a Nomura down on there, boom, boom. And then, turn 6, the world's your oyster, right? But that's a, nice 5/16, and maybe it buffs with Elsa, that's 5/18 on 5. I don't know. I could see, I could see it, but I probably will be skipping it.
Yeah, I can see that stuff too. I just think there's a lot better stuff you can do, like a card called Miss Marvel, who's a 4/14, which is way better than this and way easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that card's not really played right now, and it's way better than this card. So, and just an aside, the Atlanteans, we actually had a commenter on one of our YouTube vids who had a pretty sweet, I think it was the last one, had a pretty sweet idea. Did you read that one?
No, I didn't see that.
To buff the Atlanteans. He's like, I think they should gain power each turn they're played. I think that's pretty sweet.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Instead of just them being alone and just sad. Alone
each turn they're alone, they get a power?
No, or just each turn they're on the board. They gain power every turn.
Oh, okay. Well, Orca is not going to like that.
Yeah, whatever.
My boy.
I don't know.
I
thought of, actually, I was driving to work and I thought of, because I was listening to some people talk about Nomura. I think it was listening to Cozy and Alex, and then full copium from Cozy, but I think the Atlanteans would be great if they had the text "can't be destroyed."
Yeah.
Let them get Enchantress or whatever the hell, but if they can be destroyed, that'd be great. Because Namor sucks, man. Like he's so bad. Like,
it's brutal.
Orca 2 is not it's very situationally good. If they couldn't be destroyed, that'd be really nice. That'd be a really nice touch for them. But yeah, I don't know if that'd break them, but I don't know. All right, that was our number 5.
Let me quickly say too, just to the Miss Marvel point. Once you play the Nomura, then you could kind of do whatever, right? So Miss Marvel, you do have to maintain your board where there's different costs. But once Nomura spits out her buff, then that's it. The cards are just buffed, and it's done. So it's a couple more power. So I'm just saying, it's like, maybe a little saucy. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather play Blink on turn 5.
Oh yeah, no, all day.
Or like any fucking, or Vision, like
yeah,
or anything really.
Hey, Vision's half the power.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 4. So 3 and 4 are kind of like my mid tier list, which I actually think they're pretty decent cards. Like I think Namora to me is like way below all the rest. And then the
Well,
next two
also
are,
ramp. If you ramp into Namora, sorry to cut you off, but that's pretty good too, right?
what are you gonna play? Electro and then Namora the next turn, and so your Electro's a 3/7, and you have a 5/6 and a 3/7 on the board. I can just
No,
play
you got like
Gladiator.
Nebula, Jeff, Electro, just so you got 2 cards. Then turn 4, you drop a 16 power Namora. That's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe that's okay.
Yeah,
I could get in. I could get in that.
a little saucy.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Anyway,
still don't think. I still don't
we
think
can
it's
move
gonna
on
be
from
good.
Namora.
Um, all these scenarios. I don't see it. No, my like mid tier is like 2 cards I think are pretty good. Didn't think that they're as good as the first 2 cards, but I still think they're gonna be pretty good cards and way above Namora in my opinion. My personal dumb opinion. My number 4 was actually Sage,
Mhm.
who is a 3/0. On reveal, +2 power for each different power among all other cards here. I think me and you have our 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 switched. So like you could talk about yours as well. To me, I put her as number 4. I'll just say right now, like my number 3 is Nocturne. And I was debating switching these, back and forth. But before the season, I'm like Nocturne seems like probably has a little bit more utility. That's why I put Nocturne above Sage. Sage is out of 3/0 way better than the 4/1 that it was first out of mind. Let's just be clear about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And the Sage, like, sure, the ceiling is high, 314. The floor is probably pretty high. Like, you probably get her 3/4, 3/6 reliably all the time. But, like, I feel like I'd just rather be playing Gladiator than her and just get a 3/8 reliably. Personally, that's what I'd just rather be doing than trying to fuck with, like, oh, if I do, am I going to have enough cards with different power here? Like, what if there's a Brood in the lane that's only +2 power, right? Like,
Mhm.
I could be dead wrong. Maybe she'll be like a 3/10 a lot of all the time. Like, and I'm just like not knowing what the hell I'm talking about. That's entirely possible. But to me, I just felt like I'd probably just rather be playing the Chad, and it's probably just better than her. But she's pretty cool, and I think she'll be good in a lot of decks. Like I think like Surfer decks should be great. Like Ravona decks she'll be great. Like I think she's going to be a good card. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I just to me, I think most of the time the Chad is probably better than her.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I'm dying on the hill. 380's fucking broke. But even memeing aside, I do think Chadiator is the premier kind of 3 cost. And yeah, I don't think she's going to be better than that. I mean, that's just a 3/8 all the time. Now, obviously, huge downside with Chad, but the big thing with Chad is you could play him on 3. And this card seems like it's going to be pretty bad on 3 most of the time. Unless you play like some White Widow or something like that, where it's like, all right, there's already 2, and maybe you got a 1-drop, and you could generate 6 to 8 on your own. But I think it's not gonna be too bad getting her to like 3/6, and that's not great, to be honest. I think you have to be pushing 3/8 with her to make her worth it, and I think that you're gonna be able to get it a decent amount of time, especially if you don't play her on 3. So I think she'll be kind of in decks with Gladiator, like some Surfer deck, for example,
Yeah.
and obviously like Mr. Negative decks. I mean, let's go. 0
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, and I think she has to be kind of like a Surfer card. Like I don't want to say like 3-card Surfer card, be that like douchebag, but like you said, she's a card that you're not going to want to play on 3. So like she's a cool card that you're going to want to play with Sarah maybe, and you play like the Chad, Sage, and Surfer on turn 6 after playing Sarah on turn 5, right?
Yeah.
So like pretty sweet. It's a pretty huge power swing.
I think she has some
Um,
fringe cases too. Like
yeah,
I want
yeah, yeah,
I want to shout out like Junk for again, I mentioned the White Widow. That's 2 right there, right? But just Junk in general, right? You're throwing a bunch of shit on the board. They're playing. There's just gonna be a lot of cards on the board, and like Jean Grey stuff.
yeah.
If Jean Grey, like she's kind of on the rise. She's got the 3/4, big U.S. agent, big dick U.S. agent these days. Slamming down that -4 on the big boys, just big dicking them, and Sage can help out a lot with that, right? So yeah, I think pretty interesting. You force them to play a bunch of cards on the lane, then you just put a Sage there. as your last card, is just a Sage to close out the lane. It's probably be like a 3/12 in a scenario like that, and that's pretty sick. So yeah. So I have I think she'll just be a good, well statted 3-drop, similar to Baron Zemo, honestly. And I think so that's why I have her rank 3. I think she's going to be a good card.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think she's a bad card. She's just like, to me, number 4 of the season. There's a lot of good cards this season. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's just it.
Mhm.
And then we kind of already talked about Nocturne already. Mm-hmm. So that was your number 4, my number 3.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the top 2 of our season. Mm-hmm. So where the hell? Oh, I guess season pass not up here. Blink was my number 2. Blink is your number 1. Mm-hmm. Again, we already talked about Blink in great detail. We don't have to get into that. So
of course, yeah.
Let's get into the bad boy here, Sasquatch. Yes. Yes.
Ricky. Fuck boys.
Fuck boys. Sam's fuck bubbles. Fucking Saskatchewan outside my door. See this documentary on Saskatchewans, Julian? Anyways, Sasquatch, my number 1. And why is this my number 1? Because cheap stats are really fucking good all the time they come out. And Mockingbird, Call Obsidian, cards like that, just great cards all around. This card is a 6/10, but it's never going to be a 6/10 unless Mobius is in the meta. But I mean, you could play Mysterio on 2 and play your Sasquatch next turn before they can even play Mobius. So I think just a cheap 10 power is going to be really, really good, and there's going to be a lot of ways to use the power. And I think it's going to be the best card of the season. But again, I think Blink is really good too. And these, like, they're both top tier for me. Like, I think Blink will probably be better than Sasquatch in a month once they figure out a wild deck for her. But yeah, I don't know. Just seems like a sick card.
Yeah, I mean, Sasquatch might be the best card of the month. I don't know. Like I said, these are my 1 and 2. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah, me too. I had a hard time debating, but I end up with him.
Yeah, I think for me, like, Blink is just really fun, and it's kind of fits my play style more. But I don't want to use fun. I mean, I'm talking about good. Like, I think the 10 power. I love Mockingbird's 9 power, for example, right? Like, just like I said, there's no way to counter this freaking Mockingbird card if you play her on 3, right? But Sasquatch is countered by the most popular card in the entire game, Shang-Chi, right? So you can Miracle 5 to kind of circumvent that. You Miracle 5, are you susceptible to the Sandman? I mean, that just be a week 1 thing, I wouldn't worry about Sandman too much, but week 1 it could happen as an issue. But yeah, it's just the fact that he's 10, right? He's just kind of a 10. He's sitting there. He's just asking to get Shang-Chi. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But Mysterio and a Sasquatch is absolutely nutty. I mean, that's just giga nut right there. But I also, my other concern with him is I don't want a miracle on turn 5. Like, I want all 6 of my energy to pump my Hit Monkey as much as humanly possible. And he kind of makes the sequencing a little bit awkward. But maybe Zal could talk me into it. Like, if I just call up Zal right now, he'd probably I'm sure he could talk me up to a number 1. But the way I'm looking at it, I think he's going to be really good. But I just think Blink's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he's going to be, like you say, Shang-Chi. Like, I think it's great if you just slam your dick on the table, turn 3 Mysterio, and then turn 3 Sasquatch. Boom, just bait the Shang-Chi. They have to use it early. Amazing. And if you have the Hit Monkey stuff, you can do the Hit Monkey stuff. But if you even want to play a few cards like Mysterio, Hit Monkey, turn 5, you're gonna be able to play him and Mockingbird on turn 6 with probably something else, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, that's pretty fucking wild. He's gonna be a 2/10.
Oh yeah, no, it's wild for sure, and especially
with Mockingbird, with other shit too. That's gonna be insane.
Yeah, or if you moon girl him or something, like maybe you moon girl your Sasquatch. Like, I don't know, like some wild shit could happen for sure. Yeah. Where you're just dropping Sasquatch, Mockingbird, something like this on turn 6.
But yeah, I see. I know what you're saying. You want to unload on turn 6.
Yeah, I don't want to just kind of leave the monkey out there. Like, the whole power of this miracle turn 6 is they don't know where the hell you're going to put your power, right? So you kind of have the agency, and I guess it maybe in a way Sasquatch does the same thing, right? Because you know, they know where your monkey is, but they don't know where you're putting your Sasquatch. So, and like you said, all the other shit you're gonna play. So
Yeah, and I think he's gonna be good
I'm
in like.
sleeping on it a little bit.
I think he'll be good in Patriot decks too, like not just monkey decks, like just straight Patriot decks with like anything that plays Mysterio and Mockingbird. He's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited for him and absolutely
Yeah.
rolling for this card. And, you know, I'm
100%.
going to pick him up and play with him. So, you know, I just think Blink is insane.
Yeah.
Rolling, lockjawing to a higher card, I think is absolutely insane effect. This just seems like, you know, pretty good stats. So I don't want to overreact to it too much. So that's why I put it at 2.
I agree with you, man. I agree. I had a hard time choosing between the two. I think they're going to be great. All right, let's talk about the leaked OTAs. Someone leaked these fucking OTAs again. So you know, just a disclaimer here. we don't know if these are going to be real or not. Last time they were real. So let me just move this thing here a bit. There we go. Last time they were real, so you know, let's just see what the hell happens here. Lady Deathstrike, first one was a 5/7. They nerfed her to a 5/6. I was sleeping on this card. I mean, I knew she was good. I think she was like nerf worthy good.
Yeah.
They're saying that she's, you know, her performance was really good. I mean, I thought she was good. I didn't think she was like nerf like good. And she's been the top performer in some Annihilus shells. They said that's pretty crazy. I can't argue with it. I guess sure. I think she's still going to be good at a 5/6. Like, what do you think? No big deal.
Well, I mean, I think she's a great card. I mean, we just went through decks. Half my decks have freaking Lady Deathstrike in it right now. You know, I'm playing her in Hello right now. I think her stats are obviously pumped by the prevalence of junk decks. I mean, this card just hard counters the junk stuff. So, yeah, her stats are gonna look pretty good when, you know, White Widow has like a 25% play rate or something like that. So just think about, you know, if you have Lady Deathstrike in your deck a quarter of the time you're running into a junk deck, like that's pretty nice, right? So you got a card that just owns them. 5/7, you know, if it's a void, it's a 5/17. If you pixie, you could have a cheap Lady Deathstrike, and it kind of naturally fits in these pixie decks too, right? So yeah, I didn't think she was nerf worthy either. I mean, we went over our OTA hopes, and there's 5 or 6 cards I would nerf ahead of this one for sure. But hey, you know, the numbers don't lie, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even be mad about it. I don't know. Like, I did not think she was this good, but whatever. I guess I didn't think she needed to change, but I can't argue with the numbers. She's like better than an Annihilus in some of the Annihilus shells. It's wild to me.
I think that goes to the junk point where it's like, well, yeah, Annihilus is kind of awkward in a junk mirror, right? And everybody's playing junk. Yeah, Niall's gonna suck, and like you have to pass Prio. Like he's only good 50% of the time, basically. You know? Like he can't be better than 50% in a mirror because it's a fucking mirror match. But Lady Deathstrike, phenomenal in the junk mirror. She crushes it, and she's good for your own void if you don't draw your Nihilus. So you know it kind of makes sense. And they're talking about the Spyro Pixie deck. Well, let's be honest, that's what they're talking about, right? Spyro made this Pixie deck. It has Sentry, Annihilus, Hood, and Lady Deathstrike in it, you know? So it just, you know, these are the best cards to run with Pixie. He figured out at the time, you know, about a month ago. And yeah, I mean, I guess they don't like that, I guess. I didn't think the deck was too much of a problem, but I guess, yeah, second there thinks otherwise.
Sure. Another card, kid was fucking sleeping on apparently. Darkhawk, probably second most nerfed card in the game next to Thanos. You know, right under Thanos. This card just keeps winning. Was a 5/4, now it's a 5/3. What do they say here? It may sound, I'll even read this because I was kind of surprised reading this. It may sound surprising, but Darkhawk has continued to soar after moving to 5 cost. In fact, spent the majority of the time since as one of the highest win rate cards in the game. Often the highest. We've given it a few weeks to see if the metagame would demonstrate the kind of healthy churn we'd like to see, but there's been no change. So there's nerf Darkhawk. I was sleeping on this card. I mean, Gnome wasn't. Gnome, you know.
I was just going to say that. You know, shout out to our Canadian brethren, the Gnome. Gnome. He was on this early. He made a beautiful bounce Darkhawk list. I mean, it had, you know, Beast, Korg, Rock Slide, Darkhawk, and yeah, I mean he had the shit figured out early, and I guess that deck just never stopped being good. I mean, I knew it was good at the time, and there's been a lot of combo, right? There's the Angela decks, and then there's the combo decks trying to counter the Angela decks, and I mean Darkhawk's like okay into the Angela matchup, but then he owns the combo deck, so. Yeah, it's Darkhawk, man. He's always been good. I guess he's still really good.
Yeah. I mean, sure, I guess. I don't know how much this will actually affect him because he's like normally like a 5-14 or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
it'll be like a 5-13. It's not going to be that much, but it's something to touch him and just be like, all right.
I do want to say
everybody
same with Lady Deathstrike. I think as a 5-6, she's still great. She still does what you need her to do. You're not playing her for the power. You're playing her to clear out all the bullshit and negative stuff.
Yeah. All right. The next one I think is going to be pretty interesting. Leech. Leech was a 5-3, and now they changed it to a 4-2. So Leech was nuked as a 5-3, and now it's gonna probably be playable. No big deal. What do you say?
I mean, was this necessary? Is my question.
We're all fucked.
Like, we were having a lot of fun. We're playing the game of Marvel Snap. We're all having a blast. There's no old Galactus. There's no old Leech, and everybody's having fun. Everybody's playing what they want to play. I mean, there are still quote unquote release valves for most things in the game. And yeah, I guess they didn't think maybe it's Hella. Maybe they're worried about Hella, but they don't want to hit Hella. They're gonna say, well, maybe we'll try to bring Leech back to deal with this Hella problem. It definitely will. Like this would be really good against Hella. So, but the Hella deck does run Infinite. It does run Giganto sometimes. So you do got to be a little bit careful, even playing this into Hella.
Yeah, so it's gonna cock the turn 5 Hella, which has been happening with Corvus a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gets rid of that. It definitely owns Cannonball, so no more Cannonballs. No more Prof X's. No more Annihilus. It ruins Annihilus.
Prof X is not on reveal.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, this one only reveals text from Unreveal.
It owns Cannonball though, and Cannonball is a big hit.
So Prof X is still good. Yeah, Cannonball.
Annihilus. To your point, Annihilus. No,
Annihilus it owns. I think they say Jane Foster in here if I remember. Oh yeah, Jane Foster, but no one plays Jane Foster, even though they just buffed her. But it nerfs Jane Foster. Yeah, I mean Eliath. If people are playing Eliath, like just Galactus. If people are playing Galactus, just like all these cards, like it just out of 4 cost. Sorry, it's wild. And then like they just released it Cards Blink too, right? And then say they just released a card called Blink. If people aren't leeching on 4, like you leech them on 4, you play Blink, you're getting rid of that 4-2, and it's gonna become a better thing, man.
Yeah,
the Blink leech meta is real. It's coming.
Well, you brought up your Thanos deck. I mean, this is going to slot in perfectly with Thanos, I think, right? I mean, Leech already kind of naturally ran in Thanos, and in a Blink Thanos build, I mean, this is perfect.
Now we're going to have to be degenerates again. It's going to be degenerate meta with Leech everywhere.
Yeah.
People are going to be fucking pissed with this. Because it works so good. Because it shuts down everything. I don't even know what decks... I'm going to have to buy a US Agent because Ongoing is going to be the only way to go.
I would say, do we just play Ongoing? And do people then actually start playing Enchantress again? Like, I don't know. It'll be weird to see where it goes. I feel like they're unnecessarily moving us into a weird direction. Like, Leech. I mean, hey, they love this card. Like, I don't know.
I feel like everyone's having fun out here. Like, you're right. We're all just fucking playing our decks, having a good time. And here we go.
15 decks you can play, Well,
I mean, this ruins Phoenix Force. Like, goodbye, Doctor Strange, Ghost Spider. Anytime after turn 4, like I won't be able to move the Phoenix Force. Like, man, if I don't get Phoenix Force on 4 and I have to do like a 5 with Ghost Spider, can't do that anymore.
Yeah, the whole deck is on reveals. I mean, half the cards in the game are on reveals.
It needs to be a 4-0. Like, fuck off. This is bad.
This is spooky. Bad. This is a really spooky change. I don't mind the first 2, but this is I don't hate it yet, but I reserve my right to hate this in like 2 weeks.
I'm just like trying to see the future, and it's just gonna be miserable. And I know I'm gonna have to be a degenerate and play Leech. Like I'm 100% going to. Like, Oh well, it is what it is. Psylocke. All right, yeah. One of the changes I said they needed to do, just give her power back because Thanos is completely. They gutted Thanos a little bit. So she's a 2/2 again. Great. I like the change. Perfect.
Just confirmation that we don't need to beat around the bush with these changes. If Loki's a problem, you don't need to hit Collector. If Thanos is a problem, you don't need to hit fucking Psylocke. All right, like just address the problem. The problem's Thanos, the problem's Loki. Nerf that card and leave Psylocke alone.
Exactly. Next one, Sauron. Good. They reverted the change again. He was a 3/2. Now he's a 3/3. Good. No one plays Sauron. This is a needed change. Get him back to 3/3. He
Yeah,
deserves it.
this is a good one. I mean, I kind of like, they were hitting the Shuri deck, hitting the Red Skull, hitting the Shuri got nerfed, and then now we're at the point where it's like, yeah, nobody's playing Shuri Sauron deck anymore, and it's not like the secret high stat deck anymore because freaking Sauron was like a Series 5 card that nobody had, so nobody had access to it. So like it wasn't like the secret high stats card anymore. This is like a deck that's actually like kind of bad now. So it'd be nice to start pumping these cards up a little bit. That maybe Zero, you could put them up to a 1/4. Like I don't think that'd be crazy. Like you just move Zero up to 1/4 if you really want to give that deck some power. Like Typhoid Mary doesn't need to be a 10. Typhoid could be like 11 or 12. So there are these kind of fringe cards that only go in that deck that I think you absolutely can pump up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it. This one's very interesting. Claw.
Can't leech him.
Can't leech him. 5/4 still stays a 5/4, but now he's +8 power instead of +6. Man, he needed this a long time ago. This is a long time coming. I like how they gave him the +8 power instead of like making him a 5/6 or something. I think that's cool. Lean into his ability. This is great. I like this a lot. I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more Claw, and we're definitely gonna be seeing a lot more Claw because of fucking Leech.
Well, Claw is one of the funner cards to play in Marvel Snap, right?
Yeah.
So it is nice that he's getting some love, and also like he's not a pay to win. So pool 1 and 2 players, you have an actual card you could play with now. So this is great, man. 5/8, like this is gonna steal some games. Like this is a 5/12, and that +8, it doesn't take up any board space. It goes into Prof X, like reach locations you can't reach. Like this is I think this is like a legit card. This might be like a one of the better cards in the game now.
Yeah. Do you put this in your? Yeah. Does this make the cut in your Quantum Tunnel Tribunal list?
Ooh.
Dude, imagine even mistaking this. You mistake this. It's a chat eater.
Yeah, I have Blue Marvel in there now, but yeah, the Blue Marvel. Maybe Claw. Maybe just take him up maybe take out Blue Marvel for Claw.
Imagine
Ant-Man stays.
Yeah, Mystique Iron Man, but you actually like Mystique the Claw instead of the Iron Man.
Well, adding 8 to the Iron Man lane is amazing, right?
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't actually do that, obviously. Most of the time, Iron Man's just better to Mystique. I'm just fucking around everyone. But yeah, this change is cool. We're gonna see him a lot, and I can't wait to see W what list he comes out with. That guy's a Claw truther. The guy's been playing Claw in every deck.
Oh, that's great.
For like a year. All right, and the next change is fucking sick too. I love it. Ultron remains a 6/8, but the drones are now 1/2s instead of 1/1s. Yeah, this card was fucking garbage for a long time. Let's just be very real about that. This card was a piece of shit. Now it's less of a piece of shit, but is it playable? I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to try in some Patriot lists because Patriot's okay, but personally, I don't think it's going to be that much better. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be playable. I don't know if I said it on the pod. I kind of wanted them to do this change for a while. I like the idea of just pumping the drones up to 2. I don't think adding power to Ultron does anything. You can put him like a 6/11. I think it would do absolutely nothing. Even 6/11, 6/12 Ultron. I just don't think that gets the job done. So the only real way you can buff him is to buff the drones. And 1/2 is really nice. I mean, I don't even hate going to 3. But lowering Ultron's power if you're gonna do that, put him like 6'4" or 6'5" or something, and but put the drones up to 3. I think might be even more interesting card. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, on his own, he's a 624, right?
Yeah.
Obviously that's not gonna happen most games, right? Like you're gonna have cards in there, and you talk about all the shit with Nocturne, like Widow's Kiss or whatever comes over, and that's occupying a space that a drone should be occupying. But you get a Patriot down, you get Patriot Mystique, you get Blue Marvel, Khazar, all these things pump the drones as well. So pretty interesting effect. And again, nice they're giving these pool 3 cards some love.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's interesting. I don't even know what to think about this. Like, I honestly I don't think he's gonna like be hard in the meta, but I think he'll be an interesting card that some people will throw once in a while and have some success with.
It's like a surprise kind of spice, you just
Yeah.
throw in your Patriot deck instead of a Doctor Doom or something.
Yeah, but a much better surprise spice now than at a 1/1. He was horrible. It was just
I don't think he was before. I know
embarrassing.
some people were coping on it before, but I don't
like
think
even now. Like, okay, so one lane's empty. You have a Patriot. It's like a 16-point lane, which is kind of shit in this meta. Like Red Hulk just beats that by himself pretty handily,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that they're actually buffed.
I mean, Dazzler, Dazzler.
Yeah.
Fill those lanes up,
Yeah, no, I think it'd be pretty cool in like Patriot list. I think I actually kind of want to try him. So I hope these changes actually are all come to fruition.
We go Hope Summers, then we play a Khazar on top of the Hope Summers. All right, that's a 4, and then Ultron, and then we got a free Mockingbird.
I'm in. I'm sold.
So last turn you play like, I don't know, Mockingbird Blue Marvel or something.
That's great.
Or Mockingbird Patriot. There you go. Mockingbird Patriot Mystique, something like that in the leftover lane.
That's great. We'll see what this card does. What do you think about these changes overall?
They're pretty surprising. I mean, they're not really hitting like meta cards, right? I mean, if we're calling Lady Deathstrike and Darkhawk meta cards, I was expecting like Annihilus or kind of Cannonball, like shit like this, right? The stuff that's kind of terrorizing the meta. Maybe again, Hope Summers I think could be brought down to a 3/3 really easily. These are kind of the OTA changes I was expecting. I mean, we went at length, the ones we're kind of expecting. So they still didn't move Shang-Chi. Could have bumped him up to 5 cost in this one. They didn't do that. I mean, I'm fine that they didn't, but Jeff's not addressed, Shang-Chi, Hope, all the big boy cards, Mockingbird not moved down to 8 power, but instead we got Lady Deathstrike and Darkhawk as the nerf. So I thought that part's a little weird, but I love the buffs.
Yeah, I agree. I love the buffs too, and the nerfs are a little weird because honestly, like, dude, I never see Lady Deathstrike or Darkhawk. Like, I don't know what the tier I'm in, like shit tier or something, but I don't see these cards ever. Like, I know the Pixie deck that Spyro popularized, had Lady Deathstrike, but like, and Gnome had Darkhawk, but like, you see all these deck lists everyone posts, like I rarely see these cards, honestly. And even play on the ladder, like they rarely get played against me. So just shocking to see they're such good stats. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
cool changes though.
I don't think it's an issue if they're really good stats, if they're low play rate. That's what I was kind of saying that in the OTA thing, right? Where our wish list, like, I don't care if a card's like 60% win rate, if 2% of people are playing it. I don't give a shit, right? Let those 2% of people have their fun. And it's because it's not an issue in the meta if only 2% of people are playing it. So
it must be a different meta that we're not in.
Strange, but who knows?
Yeah, Leech is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the main takeaway.
We're kind of fucked if this actually happens. This is gonna be I don't know, not miserable, but just get your ongoing list ready, everyone. That's all I gotta say. Dust off your claw and get ready for business here, because fuck, Leech is coming.
It's so true. It's like, it's a podcast. Like we're on a podcast. We have to use our words, right? That's a medium that we've chosen here. But like, I can't describe like the sick feeling in my stomach knowing that Leech is going to be a 4/2. Like I don't quite just have the words to like I said, I love that we could just play whatever the fuck we want right now, and it just feels great. I go in, we showed two of my just stupid brews. Like new card comes out, we could brew all these crazy decks. Like there's all these packages that are pretty good that work together. You could put I don't mind if they're toning them up or down a little bit, the packages, but my God, Leech is just a massive wrench to just fucking throw into the gears and just like this card changes everything, man. Half the cards are on reveal and Marvel Snap, and he blasts them.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess the real question is like, how bad is it going to be? Like how much of a tempo loss is a 4/2 going to be?
Yeah, and
is it going to be completely horrible? Like if you're playing a junk deck and they can't play fucking Cannonball and an ILS, like that's pretty. Their void stays on their side, like like they're fucked. Mm-hmm. But then they could just play like a 5/8. A Cannonball 5/8 is not bad. Mm-hmm. 5/6 is not the worst. It's pretty bad, but like I don't know, man. That's I'm nervous for this. I'm really nervous for this.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a whole. This will change the meta, I think.
I think it'll be hard to just play it out right. Like I don't think you're gonna be able to just put Leech in everything. Like I don't think that's gonna be a thing. I think you'll have to be playing some Thanos or some Ramp or something that like makes it, or some Blink deck, right, where you can kind of mitigate his downside, right? And also like it's a 4/2, but Zabu doesn't exist as well, right? So
yeah,
if Zabu, oh my God, imagine if Zabu was an old Zabu, and this would be like the best 4/2 in the game.
Yeah,
with old Zabu, you just play him on 3, GG. I'd probably snap, honestly. I'd probably snap before if I was playing old Zabu. I think I would snap before I played Leech on 3.
Yeah.
Like fuck it, deal here.
100%. That was like the old Lockjaw when you get like freaking Leech that comes out right away. Mm-hmm. When you play like Time Stone on 2, then Lockjaw Stone on 3, and then Leech comes out. You're like, well, see ya.
Yeah,
your game's over. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, I'm nervous about the Leech meta, but yeah, hey man, I think that's probably it. Mm-hmm. 1 year in, 52 episodes, we made it somehow. Some people actually listen to us, which is kind of cool. Didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like one of our friends listening to our episodes.
Yeah, me too.
And just me and you just being stupid.
We got exclusive merch now.
Yeah, exclusive. Actually, kind of cool that people listen, interacting with you guys. It's fun. It's a lot of fun doing this every week. It's a good time, man. Thank you everyone who's supported us, listened. It means a lot, even though we're just fucking around here, but we appreciate it. It's kind of cool. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want we can improve, let us know. No big deal. What do you got to say to the people, man?
Yeah, hey, any suggestions on topics or anything, we're usually pretty active in the YouTube comments, so I think both of us check them a decent amount, so it has been nice. Like lately they've been bumping a little bit, so people have been posting in there, so I love reading the YouTube comments personally and responding to a lot of them. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Fingon, from Singapore. Every week I feel like Fingon's just in there mixing it up. So shout out to that guy, man. That guy's great. And everybody, obviously, and yeah, man, it's been great. It's been a fun year, and I don't think we'll be stopping anytime soon. I mean, the game's great, and it is nice to have an excuse to chat with my bro every week, right? So it's pretty.
Yeah. No, it's really good. And then one thing I want to say too, man, shout out to all the guests we've had too. Like, I did not fucking for 1 minute think that we were ever gonna have people on this show, or people that actually wanted to be on this show. Like, hey, can we come on your show? It's like, yeah, fuck, we're just a couple of jackasses talking about Marvel. So now people want to go talk. Sure, come on. It's hilarious. So I mean, like, shout out to all our guests as well, and past, and future guests that we're gonna have too. They're great too, and it's been really fun actually talking to different people about Snap and getting different opinions, because again, we're just a couple of fucking idiots here just talking about Snap, but yeah, shout out to them, and no big deal. Close us out, man.
Hey, shout out to everybody. Hopefully Leech Storm doesn't hit too hard. Hopefully it's shit, or maybe these leaks aren't super accurate. We can keep having fun playing the game. Have fun with the new cards. Like, Blink is sick, and yeah, man. Thanks to everybody for listening for a year, man. That's great that you guys have been doing that, and we love you guys, and rock and roll, baby.
Motherfuckers now love us. Peace.